Envision a person grappling with an aggressive form of cancer, enduring moments of pain that stretch into an eternity of suffering. They plead for their right to a merciful, medically induced death, only to be faced with a legal system that denies them the very autonomy over their own lives. Good afternoon, fellow peers, staff members, and judges. Today, I come forward to explore the boundaries of life and death in the realm of assisted suicide. Now, this practice, also known as euthanasia and physician-assisted death, involves the prescription of medication to bring about a peaceful and controlled passing in the event of suffering from a terminal disease. As widely accepted as this process may sound, unfortunately, it remains legal in only 8 of the 195 countries throughout the world. Now, I am advocating for the worldwide legalization of assisted suicide, as this process recognizes numerous fundamental human rights, spares terminally ill patients from endless suffering, and lastly, alleviates the emotional burdens faced by families. To begin, assisted suicide is moral as it recognizes numerous fundamental human rights. Notably, it recognizes our most fundamental right, the right to life. This declaration goes beyond one's entitlement to a safe existence, as it recognizes that no human, under any circumstance, should bear a life of unmerited suffering. Thus, legalizing assisted suicide aligns with the very essence of human life and thus warrants serious consideration. Additionally, bodily autonomy, as enshrined in the Declaration of Human Rights, grants each human the power to control their bodies and bring an end to suffering on their own terms. Thus, denying individuals the right to assisted suicide impends not only on their autonomy, but the dignity every human deserves in navigating their own mortality. Furthermore, legalizing assisted suicide spares terminally ill patients from endless suffering. Terminal diseases create excruciating pain so bad that even conventional medical treatments fail to alleviate it. It's worth noting that these types of diseases bring about not just physical pain, but also mental anguish as well. A lot of individuals at the peak of their diseases begin to experience anxiety, depression, and other types of helplessness as their conditions worsen. Therefore, legalizing assisted suicide recognizes the holistic nature of suffering and provides an avenue for those who wish to avoid the mental agony to do so in a controlled and safe manner. Lastly, legalizing euthanasia allows the families to have not any pain. In 2017, Noel Conway, a 67-year-old man in the UK, pleaded for his right to assisted suicide. He suffered from a motor neuron disease that paralyzed over 90% of his body. His muscles had deteriorated, his voice had depleted, and his eyesight began to degenerate. The man wanted to say goodbye to his family at the right time and not be in a zombie-like condition when he said his last words. After fighting in the British courts for 6 years, unfortunately, his right to assisted suicide was revoked. And to this day, assisted suicide remains illegal in the UK. He wanted to say goodbye to his children and grandchildren, and it pained him for them to have to see him in such a weak and frail state. It is for patients like these and their families that assisted suicide must remain a safe and available option. In the end, the plea for assisted suicide is not a plea for death, but a plea for dignity, compassion, and autonomy. The current prohibitions require individuals to bear anguish against their will, which is a direct violation of mankind's fundamental liberties. Now, imagine that you, or someone you love, was faced with the relentless grip of a terminal disease, bearing anguish and facing the inevitable death. Wouldn't you want to be granted the option to have one final say? Thank you.